irrigation facilities to enhance food production. Supreme Court affirms nullification of 74 political parties deregistered by INEC. Rainstorm wreaks havoc in Imekwafon as residents count losses. Hello, good evening, and thanks for joining us on Channel 12 News Tonight. My name is Idarisit Adeokuta. The federal government says it will focus more attention on greater development of irrigation facilities across the country and encourage more people into agricultural production. President Muhammadu Buhari made the pledge during the 6th regular meeting with the Presidential Economic Advisory Council led by Professor Doyin Salami. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
Describing agriculture as a good way to overcome Nigeria's economic challenges, President Muhammadu Buhari stressed the need for the citizens to go back to the land. Technology, he said, is doing away with petroleum, but Nigeria is lucky to have other resources, especially gas and vast arable land, yet to be adequately explored and exploited. The Presidential Economic Advisory Council had told the president that only 2% of land and cultivation in Nigeria charged leadership at every level to go back to the basics, noting that a bottom-up approach is necessary. He decried the situation in which some unscrupulous people tried to undermine every policy of government, irrespective of the good it is meant to achieve for the country. As he put it during the closed-door engagement, some people are mercilessly against this country. We closed the borders to control the smuggling of petroleum products and check the influx of illegal goods, arms and ammunition. Yet I got a call from the Controller General of Customs that 40 tankers laden with petrol had been impounded. As the president explained, he instantly directed that both the fuel and to shoot anyone found with AK-47 rifles illegally, saying people must show consideration for the need to improve as COVID infections drop and rollout of vaccination intensifies. He said the Nigerian economy, though out of recession, remains fragile with rising inflation, unemployment, and weak external account. The council therefore recommended, amongst others, decisive end to all forms of insecurity in the country, mobilization of resources for investment, hastened implementation of agricultural reform policies, passage of the petroleum industry bill, poverty reduction, employment generation, as well as incentives for private investment in irrigation to promote all-year-round farming. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In what is considered an indication of in-depth understanding of governance and purposeful partnership with the federal government, the Delta State government has built and handed over a Federal Road Safety Commercial Inspectorate Training School to the federal government. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the event says effective collaboration between the federal government through its agencies and state governments will bring about more dividends and improved service delivery to Nigerians. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has affirmed the nullification of the 74 political parties deregistered by the Independent National Electoral Commission. In a judgment delivered by Justice Adamu Jairo, the court affirmed that the deregistration of NUP, one of the 74 parties, was done in line with the laws and compliance with the extant provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and Electoral Act. INEC, in deregistering the affected 74 political parties in February 2020, stated that they failed to meet the minimum requirements. Also this Friday, the Apex Court declared the dissolution of the elected officials of the local governments in Oyo State as illegal. The court ordered the Oyo State government to pay all the salaries and allowances of the elected officials from the date of their illegal dissolution to the end of their tenure. In another judgment, the Supreme Court declared the Katsina State government dissolution of local governments of elected officials in July 2015 as illegal. The Apex ordered that dissolved elected council officers be paid all the entitlements from the date of their illegal dissolution to the date they were to vacate office. The court described the acts of the state government as illegal. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is planning to convert 753 voting points in Osun State to polling units to allow more eligible voters during the 2022 governorship election in the state. The resident electoral commissioner in Osun State, Olusegun Agbaje, stated this at the INEC stakeholders meeting in Osogbo. Femi Afayogun reports.
During the last general elections in Nigeria, over 1.6 million registered voters in Osun State alone had to make use of 3,010 polling units, which created a lot of inadequacies, such as overcrowded polling units and disruption of the process in some centers. With the population growth and establishment of new settlements in many areas across Osun State, INEC has embarked on expansion of voter access by adding 753 polling units to existing ones. Briefing stakeholders at the meeting, Osun Resident Electoral Commissioner Olusegun Agbaje highlights advantages of the exercise to include addressing decline in voter turnout.
The next stage is to harmonize what we have discussed at this stakeholders forum today with our reports sent to Abuja, and then all these reports will be considered. And once they are okay, they'll be ratified, and then they become full-fledged polling units across the country.
Stakeholders welcomed the move by INEC, but cautioned against the good intention being hijacked by politicians.
It's very, very important that they disseminate this information to reduce tension.
INEC promised to deploy voter enrollment devices to the proposed new polling units for continuous voter registration exercise scheduled to commence on June 28, 2021. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
The federal government is soon to commence the prosecution of high-profile Nigerians suspected to be engaged in financing acts of terrorism, undermining national security and stability. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, announced this while speaking with correspondent Adamu Sambo in the State House.
As you actually know, sometimes back there were certain convictions of Nigerians allegedly involved in terrorism financing in the United Arab Emirates. That gave rise to a wider and far-reaching investigations in Nigeria. Arising from the investigation, there exists certainly reasonable grounds for suspicion that a lot of Nigerians, high-profile, institutional and otherwise, are involved in terrorist financing, and they are being profiled for prosecution. So in essence, it is indeed true that the government is indeed initiating processes of prosecuting those high-profile individuals that are found to be financing terrorism. It is indeed true.
How many of them have so been arrested?
Well, as to the number, because the investigation is ongoing and it has to be conclusive before one can arrive at a certain number. But one thing I can tell you, for prosecution, it is indeed a large number, and I am not in a position to give you with precision the number as at now because the profiling and investigation is ongoing.
So what is the message the government is now sending to those with the habit of financing terrorism?
Well, the message is clear. Nobody is going to be spared. No stone will be left unturned. We shall certainly and aggressively pursue those people that are involved in terrorist financing as far as the Nigerian state is concerned.
And still to come, residents of Imekwafo count their losses as rainstorm wreak havoc, plus international flight resumes operation in Port Harcourt Airport. Channel 12 News continues after this time.
Ajaye go gym, you won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. In the farm say you sabi, you want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself,
whatever your size. Find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
My son, calm down now.
Yeah, why did you sound like a robber?
My uncle no go bite. Uncle! Uncle, meet Andy. He has come to ask for my hand in marriage.
Good morning and good afternoon, sir. What about good night? Are you seeing a movie? What nonsense!
Son, you are in control.
No, sir. It's my parents in the village. I'm doing a video call since they can't be here.
Bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ di àǹfààní ọgọ́rùn-ún mẹ́fà owó ìpè ọ̀fẹ́ àti àfikún ìdá ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀rin ní gbogbo ìgbà tó o bá fowó sórí ẹ̀rọ ìpè rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àfikún tó pé ìdá ọgọ́rùn-ún lórí ìpè dátà. Bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ ètò ìpè àti dátà tó nípọn lẹ̀ bí orí ẹ̀dànàdú.
Welcome back and thank you for staying tuned. In anticipation of the forthcoming first edition of the 8th Sahel countries' military games to hold in Nigeria in October 2021, the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Agashi retired, has endorsed sport as a catalyst for resilience and stamina necessary for carrying out military operations. This was during a visit by a delegation from the Organization of Military Sports in Africa, OSMA, led by its president, Brigadier General Abdullahi, who is the first Nigerian and Anglophone military officer to be so appointed. Validating the essence of the forthcoming military games, Brigadier General Abdullahi said the military games tagged first CDS 8 Sahel countries military game would douse the tension of the insecurity in the participating countries. He also said partnering with the Ministry of Defense would ensure successful hosting of the military games in Nigeria, scheduled for October 2021. A downpour accompanied by windstorm wreaked havoc in Ilara, a border town community with the Republic of Benin under Imekwafon local government area of Ogun State, as rooftops of some houses were blown off and property worth millions of naira destroyed. Correspondent Tope Alabi completes the stories.
Rainfall is regarded as blessing from God. However, it was a sad story to recount for the residents of Ilara in Imekwafon local government area of Ogun State, as the evening downpour has thrown the community into panic and confusion due to the devastating effects. This 48-year-old man, Patrick Ode, whose two-bedroom apartment was pulled down by the rain, was rescued from being trapped under the debris with his wife and 4 children. Suddenly, the storm pulled off our roof and eventually pulled it with the blocks and banged it on us inside our house. Even one of my children got injured in the process. I'm just begging government to help me because we have nothing. The wind just came and began to scatter everything. And before everything, it pulled down our wall and we have to run for our dear lives. Trees were uprooted, electricity poles, cables, perimeter fences were destroyed, leaving the community in despair. The affected residents say the downpour has rendered them homeless and destroyed their means of livelihood. However, government is concluding arrangements on how to assist the victims.
The people required assistance, great deal of assistance from the state, and we are going to pursue that. We only want to appeal to them to take patience so that we will do the needful, speak on their behalf so that the state can come to our aid.
Many are still battling with the remnants of the havoc wreaked by the rainstorm that destroyed many houses here in Ilara. Most of them are asking for government intervention. From Ilara, Alabi, NTA News.
Thank you, Tope, for that report. And on Sport Update, NTA gets broadcast rights for Continental Mini Football Tournament. Details of these and more with Bade Adile in Sports Update.
The local organizing committee of the Second African Mini Football Confederations Nations Cup has named the Nigerian Television Authority as the official broadcaster for the tournament. Nigeria won the bid to host the competition in 2020, but it was postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic and will now hold from 8th to 17th July 2021 at the largest sports resorts, Ibadan, Oyo State. Meanwhile, the second round of the 2020-2021 season of the Nigeria Professional Football League begins this Saturday with Jigawa Golden Stars and Lobby Stars locking horns at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna. On Sunday, Rivers United host Dakada. Warriors are at home to Kano Pillars with Enyimba and Enugu Rangers going head-to-head. Kwara United currently top the league standings with 36 points ahead of Kano Pillars, who also have the same points, while Akwa United are third with 34 points. Meanwhile, already relegated Sheffield United will be looking to build some momentum ahead of their campaign next season in the Championship when they take on Crystal Palace in the Premier League at Bramall Lane, with the match live on NTA Network from 2:30 Saturday afternoon. In other fixtures, Manchester City welcome Chelsea to the Etihad in what will be a dress rehearsal for the All-English Champions League final, with a win confirming City's status as Premier League champions. Liverpool and Southampton will clash in the last game for Saturday, while Aston Villa entertain Europa League finalists Manchester United on Sunday, just as Arsenal and West Brom will trade tackles. To tennis, all is now set for the women's final of the Madrid Open on Saturday, with world number 1 Ashley Barty and Aryna Sabalenka facing off in what will be a rematch of the Stuttgart Open final. Top seed Barty claimed her spot in the final after defeating wildcard Paulo Badosa 6-4, 6-3, while her Belarusian opponent defeated 6-time Grand Slam quarterfinalist Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-2, 6-3 to reach the final. With sports update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
And away from sports, the 8-day fidal of late Alaja Rafatu Adewuyi, mother of Ayo Adewuyi of the News Directorate, NTA, has held in Osogbo, where Muslims were admonished to be dutiful and care for their parents. Wasil Rahul.
The fidal prayer, which intended to seek Allah's forgiveness and mercy for the departed Alhaja Rafatu Adewuyi, was led by the Chief Missioner and Ansarudeen Society of Nigeria, Sabo Osogbo, Alhaji Yunus Imogbemi. The 8-day fidal prayer had in attendance family, friends, relations, and well-wishers, including the NTA family from the corporate headquarters and the region led by the General Manager NTA Osogbo, Femi Babalola, and Segun Ojelade of NTA Akure. In his sermon, Imam Abdulhakeem Tabatiada of Ansarul Islam Osogbo admonished the gathering to live a pious life in accordance with Allah's injunctions in order to be successful both in this world and hereafter. He also held faithful to always look after their parents with utmost care while staying on earth and desist from any immoral act.
She supported all of us educationally. She supported us even in our jobs. She supported and loved all of our wives and all of our children. She was a wonderful mother.
Alhaja Rafatu Adewuyi of Atanda Compound, Isale Osun, was not without her indelible imprint on the community and the society, as attested to by some of the community leaders in Osogbo. The NTA family was not left out of the fidal prayers.
Wherever we come across people well-mannered like this, we know that it is a ripple effect from the family they come from. So as a mother in that family, we are sure she's responsible for this.
I was a complete stranger in the family, but Alhaja accepted me without arms and treated me like one of her children.
Late Alhaja Rafatu Adewuyi, a community leader and successful trader, was also the Yasuna of Ansarudeen Society of Nigeria Osogbo, a position she held for decades until her demise. Alhaja Rafatu Titilayo Adewuyi returned to Almighty Allah on the 28th of April 2021 at the age of 82 and survived by children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, among whom is Ayo Adewuyi, Deputy Director News, NTA Headquarters, Abuja. In Osogbo, Wasil Rauf, NTA News.
We say may Hadia also rest in peace. And on that note, we'll wrap up Channel 12 News. Thank you for watching. May Dara sit at Dedo. Bye for now.